Hello and welcome to Kind Mind Academy. It's Catherine Lovewell here again, and we've got another opportunity for a quarter of an hour gentle dive into understanding mindful self-compassion. So today I'm going to use a very, very simple analogy, and before I dive into that exercise, which I think encapsulates beautifully what MSC is all about, I would like to first honour and acknowledge Doctors Kristen Neff and Christopher Germer. So everything that I'm talking about is based from their research, from their clinical expertise. They are the ones that have created the course that I teach. It's an 8-week course or a 5-day intensive. And I just wanted to honour them because this is not my brainchild, and the exercises and some of the meditations and the ways in to being and living a more self-compassionate life are all from this magical work. It has significantly changed my internal landscape from quite's an understatement, a very critical, perfectionist approach to life. Maybe not on the outside, but definitely on the inside. So even though I have a best-selling book, even though I have a very good degree, even though I have, and the list can go on and on, lots of external achievements, inside there was still a voice saying, so what? You're still not good enough. And the striving energy, which the subtle nuances of MSC start to address over time, starts to lessen, and it's really softened in my life. So no matter where you are with how you are with yourself, I do believe mindful self-compassion can make a profound difference in your life. Whether you're perceived to be successful on the outside or not, whether you're perceived to be excelling or not, it really doesn't matter. What's important is this internal life, and we're going to look at that a bit today. So thank you very much for joining. It's lovely to see some of you online already. Before we go into that exercise, I would like to just have a gentle, soft landing. We experienced one last week. I'll make this one a little bit shorter, maybe just from 1 minute, as we have precious time together. And I know time is precious, and the beauty of MSC is that we can learn to savour the time that we have in our day. And if you care to join me, you're very welcome to enjoy this brief moment, this pressing pause in all of this busyness, this hectic life that we lead. So if it feels comfortable for you, simply close your eyes, or you can just gently bow your head or soften your gaze. You may like to take a few slow breaths in and out. Just noticing the breath. You may notice some sounds in the room that you're in, or maybe outside of the room. And just let those sounds gently land on your ears. You don't need to go searching for anything. Literally giving yourself a moment. And if the mind is busy, let that be totally okay. Feel yourself softening, cooling down from the day. And you can allow yourself to just gently return back to this moment with me, with the sound of the bell. Lovely. So, this is hopefully you're feeling more refreshed now, or at least a little softer around the edges. And I have a simple question for you. How do you treat a friend? Now let me narrow this down to a particular challenge. Just think about various times that maybe you've had a friend who was struggling in some way. Maybe they failed at something, maybe they're feeling inadequate about something. So they're really having a bit of a tough time. Just consider, how do you treat them? They come to you and they're feeling rotten. What do you say to them, and what tone do you use? Just have a little reflection. You may like to write it down. If you're watching this as a recording, you can press pause and really empty out. We would ordinarily spend a lot longer on this exercise. How would you treat a friend? They failed. They're feeling inadequate. Something's gone wrong. Very good. Okay. And now I'd like you to imagine you're turning the page, fresh sheet of paper, return to neutral, maybe take a nice deep breath. And I'd like you to consider this. How do you treat yourself when something's gone wrong? Maybe you've struggled with something. Maybe you failed at something. Maybe you're feeling inadequate. How do you speak to yourself? And what tone do you use? So again, if you're listening to this as a recording, press pause, really contemplate. What does that sound like inside your head? What's the tone like? What words do you use? Really get curious and know that when we are exploring this, there is no judgment. Mindful self-compassion is not about judgment. It's about compassion, acceptance, opening and warming to what is showing up. So we're getting some answers coming through. Thank you for sharing. Yes, much harsher when speaking to myself, typically. Not kindly, telling off. So absolutely, when I did this exercise, I was genuinely shocked. I could have written pages and pages for the latter. The judgments, the criticisms. Yes, thank you. So Paul is saying, I would be gentle and understanding, compassionate. It's a real sense of kindness to others. But me, critical. So if you have discovered the same, and you'll have different nuances as to that criticism, please know that you are not alone. And this is a very, very important aspect of mindful self-compassion, the common humanity element, that we are not alone in our suffering. And these statistics, which are very interesting, Kristen Neff's preliminary data suggests that 78% of people are significantly more compassionate towards others than they are themselves. That's nearly 3/4 of the population that also struggle with that inner critic, that also struggle with being kind to yourself when something goes wrong. So if you had quite a contrast in that internal voice, please know you're not alone. And what's exciting, and this is why I've chosen to start sharing on Facebook about MSC, is that it can change. I never imagined it would be possible, and it can change. So 3 years on, that inner critical voice just is not there in the same way. Maybe protective, maybe it'll pull me up occasionally, but there is a kindness, a softness, a gentleness, a compassionate voice inside my head now. No matter how much I've failed or how difficult I'm finding something, I treat myself with friendliness. So the simplest definition I want to leave you with, and this is why I wanted to start, it's early days, it's only our second MSC Facebook Live, with a really tangible, accessible, simple definition of MSC, because there's lots of science behind it, there's lots of research, and there's lots of conceptual information that I could share with you in the early days. But actually, I feel it's so much more helpful to have a tangible experience of it and to have that clear, defined difference, that contrast. Well, of course I'd look after my friend, of course I would be patient with them, of course I would be tender and kind and gentle and reassuring and so on and so forth. Oh, but me, well, pull my socks up, I'd give myself a talking to, whatever it is. So having that tangible contrast, I feel, is much more helpful in the early days to really recognize how and why you might benefit from mindful self-compassion, either with an intensive retreat, there's one coming up in June, or during an 8-week course that I do regularly throughout the year. So the simplest definition is treating ourselves with the same kindness as we would treat a friend when things go wrong. So hopefully that's been really helpful. I have just a couple more moments, thank you for the thumbs up, just to share a beautiful poem I found today. And it's just delightful in its simplicity, and it's beautiful, and hopefully will encourage you to consider being kinder and remembering that you are enough, just as you are. This is called Enough by David White. Enough. These few words are enough. If not these words, this breath. If not this breath, this sitting here. This opening to life we have refused again and again until now. Until now. You may like to listen to that again and again. The more I listen to it, the deeper it takes me. So I would just like to say thank you so much to everyone who's joined me. Thank you, Kadra. Thank you, Sarah, Paula, Carol, anyone else that I can't see on this now. Thank you for your lovely comments, your love hearts and your thumbs up. it's really interesting to step out of one's comfort zone and share something that's so deeply important to my heart in a public arena like this. So I appreciate your support. Thank you. If you would like to learn more, please just drop me a line on Kind Mind Academy or private message me, whatever you want to do. I always love to talk about this. So until next week, our Compassionate Wednesdays, our Self-Compassionate Wednesdays will continue 6:15 on the dot. So my time's up. I hope that this quarter of an hour nugget will warm your heart and bring you a little bit of clarity and lightness as to how to live a more self-compassionate life. So until next time, take great care of yourself. Thanks now. Good night. Lovely love hearts. Look at all those love hearts. I don't know how they come up so fast. Take good care. God bless.